Joanne, will you please call the roll?
Colleen Gallagher.
Here.
Katie Gallagher.
Here.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Tom Murphy.
Here.
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Tony DeMarco.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Here.
Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have approval of our minutes from the March 11th, 2013 meeting. We need a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
To approve the minutes of March 11th, Colleen Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Next, the mayor has a proclamation.
Come on up, Kevin. Your dad, your grandmother, anybody that wants to. I have a proclamation I'm going to read in a couple minutes here for Kevin Pucci on his accomplishments as a debater, but I want to say a few things before I start. Every time I've met Kevin, he's been very polite. He's a great individual, and being able to debate to such high level from a school like St. Ignatius, it's not a hard prediction to make. I predict this kid's going to go somewhere in his lifetime, believe me, because he's so good at this. So I'd like to say, in honor and recognize Kevin Pucci for his achievement as Ohio's 2013 Policy Debate Champion. Whereas Brooklyn resident Kevin Pucci, in his third year of policy debate at St. Ignatius High School, and whereas during the 2012-2013 season, Kevin and his partner have achieved an impressive record in competition at local, state, and national debate tournaments. And whereas Kevin was a semifinalist at John Carroll University State Qualifying Tournament, and whereas Kevin broke into the elimination rounds at 3 national tournaments, including triple oct-finalist at the University of Michigan, double oct-finalist at the University of Kentucky, and octa-finalist at the Chicago National Tournament. And whereas Kevin received individual recognition of 9th speaker at the University of Kentucky, and is the district champion at the National Forensic League of Ohio North Coast District. And whereas at the 86th Ohio High School Speech League State Finals, Kevin and his partner became the state of Ohio's policy debate champions with an impressive record of 9-1 in the final tournament. And whereas Kevin is the only person in policy debate to win back-to-back state championships. And whereas this June, Kevin will be representing the Ohio North Coast District at the National Forensic League Finals in Birmingham, Alabama. Kevin also attended this event last year and finished 14th in the nation. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Richard H. Balbier, on behalf of the Brooklyn City Council and the citizens of the City of Brooklyn, do hereby extend sincere congratulations to Kevin Pucci for his exceptional achievements. We are all very proud of you and your accomplishments. He doesn't want to talk, and he's a debate champion.
Okay, next, just prior to our public session, I'm going to recognize our County Council Representative, Dan Brady. He's also the Vice President of the Council. Because of redistricting, Mr. Brady is our new representative to the County Council. Mr. Brady.
Good evening.
on this beautiful spring evening. I was sorry that Kevin left. I wanted to congratulate him and hope that I never have to debate him. I'm Dan Brady, and I represent what's called District 3 in the new county council. We have 11 districts. Each district represents I represent 115,000 people. As of the beginning of this year, Brooklyn became part of my district due to redistricting. I know the redistricting is sometimes a traumatic experience in some of the larger districts, particularly congressional districts. I had this experience somewhat like this 10 years ago. I was in the state Senate and overnight represented the city of Parma, which hadn't previously been in my district, with about 80,000 people. But I will be proud to represent the city of Brooklyn. I served for 10 years in the Cleveland City Council. I served for 10 years in the legislature, both in the House and in the Senate. And I know that for some people there may be a question about having your representative be a resident of the city of Cleveland. I want to assure you that having represented 330,000 people in the legislature and many of the suburbs in the western part of the county, that I'm quite experienced with representing the diversity that is Cuyahoga County. I am fortunate to be the vice president of the county council at the present. I'm the chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee. It's been a great opportunity for me. You know, it's a wonderful honor to serve in the state legislature, but I was in the minority for a decade, and that is not nearly as satisfying as being able to serve in the majority. Now, we do have a bipartisan county council, although we are elected in partisan elections. Each member, regardless of party, chairs a committee and is able to pass legislation. And we've worked this way for 2 years. It's fairly unique, and it's worked out very well. In fact, I think the diversity of opinions helps us have a balanced policy. And I only wish that our state and national governments were more capable of a less partisan approach. I am familiar with Brooklyn, of course. Presently, my district actually surrounds you to the west and to the north and to the east. But the town is one that I'm very familiar with. I look forward to getting to know all of you. I want to say to the members of the council, Mr. Mayor, the council president, members of the council, I'm well aware that you are the folks who have been elected to represent the people of the city of Brooklyn, and I am not. But I really look forward to working with you. If any of you would like to have me come to a meeting or meet me personally or have coffee with me, or you've got something about county government or some way that you think I might be able to help out, please, please don't hesitate to reach me. I hope you'll find me accessible. I stand here in Chuck Germana's shoes. And neither of us had anything to do with that, because unlike most legislative bodies, we didn't control redistricting. In county government, it's a commission that controls redistricting and draws the lines. And so in this case, unlike the city of Cleveland right now, we don't have anything to say about it. But nevertheless, I think you'll find me to be very much engaged in the job. I enjoy it. I'm, as the chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee, about half of the county's budget comes through my committee. And I am, have the privilege of working closely with the county executive, who I meet with several times a month, Mr. Fitzgerald. Meet almost several times a week with the council president. If you would ever like to attend one of our meetings, one of our formal meetings, they're on the second and fourth Tuesday down at the Justice Center downtown. The parking is free. And we also have committee meetings throughout the week, and those schedules are online as well. On a personal level, I'm lucky enough to still be a son. My mother's still living. I am a husband. I am a father. And most recently, I'm a grandfather. So I think I've gone the full gambit here. And I very much look forward to representing you, and I'm sure you'll see me at public events and any issues that come up, and they will. I know the gasification issue was a big issue here very recently. And my name's Dan Brady, and I look very forward to working with you and your representatives as your member of the new Cuyahoga County Council. And thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our public session. If anyone has anything to say for the good and welfare of the City of Brooklyn, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please observe our 5-minute time limit.
Hi, I'm James Catania, and my address is 9420 Outlook Drive, and I have a speech. Good evening, everyone. My name is James Catania, and I am a 10th grade student at Brooklyn High School. I am here today to speak on behalf of the Brooklyn High School Music Department. I am deeply involved in the department. I am a member of the Wind Ensemble, Marching Band, and Pit Orchestra. I am also a Loading Crew Band Officer. The music department, and more specifically the instrumental department, is very important to me. Being involved in band has allowed me to meet lots of new people and create lots of close friendships that will last a lifetime. Of my first 2 years of high school, my best memories are band-related events such as Friday night football games and the musical showings. Band has also taught me important life skills like teamwork, patience, and dedication to achieve a common goal. Without the program, my friends and I would not have learned and experienced these skills. Band made me a better person and gave me the opportunity to do things like go to New York City and perform at the Indians game, something others only dream of. The program gives students a home, a family of great people and great memories, and that cannot be obtained anywhere else. Another key point is that the music is challenging and has allowed us to polish and explore our musical abilities. It has made us smarter and humbler. It has also given students the ability to get scholarships for their singing or playing. Recently, you heard senior Michael Binda speak, and he is currently exploring scholarships for his musical ability. If the program were to be cut, then we and all students in the future will lose this chance to get scholarships and get to college. If the program were to be cut, my friends and I would be completely devastated. The music department and other extracurricular activities are what makes high school fun and enjoyable. The marching band is something the entire community enjoys to see in the streets of Brooklyn or at the stadium. The community also enjoys watching the musicals on the Brooklyn stage each year. The music department is an area of pride for the school and the community, and for it to be cut and taken away from the community would be a horrible mistake. Not only would the program be cut, but Mr. Sean Sullivan would lose his job. Mr. Sullivan is the hardest working and most dedicated teacher in the district and has had a very meaningful impact on many, many kids. He's like a father figure, and taking him and the program away would be taking a piece of us away. I am not just speaking for me or my class or band kids, for all kids involved in the music program, which is almost 25% of the whole district. The music department has proven to be the biggest and most successful department in the district, and for the sake of the children of this great city, it needs to be kept, and that means the levy needs to pass. When the levy passes, the music program can be continued and improved, and its long tradition of excellence and pride can continue for many generations and impact many kids positively as it did to me. So, please, council members, back and support the levy and continue to make Brooklyn a wonderful place to live, learn, and prosper. Thank you for your time, and have a pleasant evening.
Angie Cutler, 7525 Brookside Drive. Freshman year. I'm almost a survivor. 3/4 of the way through, but only 3/16 of the way through high school. This year, I have taken part in cheerleading, basketball, student council, track, and band, which includes marching band, concert band, and pit band. I play the trumpet, and I've been playing since the 5th grade. I know I'm here to say this, but band honestly is and has been a huge part of my life. In the 6th grade, I won the band award, and then again in 8th. I'd also started playing in the pit orchestra in the 8th grade, and you would think all of that should have made me ready for marching band camp, right? Wrong. Let me tell you, sitting and playing trumpet is nothing like walking and playing. One day, first day at camp, Mr. Sullivan has everyone do a drill where we have to march in a straight line with our eyes closed for maybe 10 steps. So he is counting, and let me tell you, I was focused. He says halt, and I step together, and what do you know, my face is smashed into my friend's back. That was really embarrassing, but however, I went home and laid out a jump rope in a straight line and practiced, as dumb as it sounds, walking in a straight line with my eyes shut. That was just one example of what band has taught me. Not the fact that I can now walk with my eyes closed, but the determination, practice, and patience needed in order to accomplish this goal. Sure, academics might teach you the facts, but it's the extracurricular activities that teach you how to achieve good grades in life after you graduate. Whether it's staying up late practicing an instrument to get a higher chair in your section, or practicing for an interview to get a job, showing up to pit band on Saturday on time, or showing up to my future occupation, they're all things that aren't quite taught in a classroom. Besides, what's high school without sports and pep rallies and drama clubs and school clubs? I wouldn't have half as many friends, and I wouldn't even want to come to school. Sport practices and band rehearsals drive me to come even if I have a little cold. With them gone, I'd have no motivation to come to school, and there would be absolutely no pride to be from Brooklyn schools. High school without all of these privileges isn't high school at all. Thank you.
My name is Becky Crossman, 4587 Memphisville South. I'm here talking today because I feel it's important for our city council members to support our school levy. I lived in Brooklyn for 8 years, and in those 8 years, I have represented my city through different sport organizations, dreaming that one day I'll be able to represent my high school. I don't want to just represent my high school through just sports. As a freshman, I take all honors courses and carry a 4.1 GPA. I have participated in all arts electives the school has offered, band, drama, and art. I feel these classes have turned me into the student I am today. They taught me to think differently, analyze, create, and express myself. With Brooklyn offering these classes, I feel I am a more successful student, which will lead me to success later in life. If these courses were cut, I can guarantee I won't be ready for college or be the 21st century thinker society wants us to be. The teacher and the coaches that put the time into all the extracurriculars taught me so much more about life than I have ever thought I would learn from one. For example, Mr. Sullivan, the band director, has taught me dedication. From being my music teacher for all grade levels, on top of being the band director, marching band, jazz band, and pit band director, he dedicated so much of his life to us, the students of Brooklyn, and he never complained about the time he spent with us. Coach Casper taught me that in order to be successful, you need to set goals and work hard to achieve them. Making starting goalie as a freshman showed me how true that really is. Coach Beard for cheerleading taught me to always be kind and supportive, no matter what the outcome of the game is. Coach Ray taught me to overcome my apprehensions and try a new sport, and it turns out that I loved it. And I am excited to work with Coach Jones and set new goals for yet another new sport. With all of this, I'll have earned 4 varsity letters by the end of my freshman year. By supporting the students of Brooklyn and our school levy, you will make it possible for me to set and achieve new goals, as well as the other students of Brooklyn who want to participate to become the best student they can be. We want to represent Brooklyn High School, so please support us, the kids of your city.
Hello, my name is Erica Prusek, and I live at 4800 Summer Lane. I am a 7th grader at Brooklyn Middle School, and I encourage everyone to vote for the levy. I have been involved in the extracurricular activities, such as being in our play, which has just happened recently, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I do some sports, and if the levy doesn't pass, then all those will be taken away from me, and I'm not just the only one who hope the levy passes. There's lots of activities to do at Brooklyn Middle School, and everyone, they just love doing these activities. Brooklyn Middle School has a lot to offer, and the levy, it's a way for the students to have all of these activities. Thank you for your time.
Dan Gentili, 4656 Southwood Drive. Tonight I'd like to start off by thanking Mayor Balbier for thanking Mrs. Pucci, Mrs. Gallagher, and Mr. DeMarco for their support of our bond levy issue. I would also like to encourage the rest of the council members who have not supported us or come out to support us yet to please get educated on this very important issue. I know that Mrs. Walker and Mr. Farian would be more than happy to have an individual meeting with each of you to discuss the issues and any concerns that you have around the levy and the money that needs to be raised for the schools. I would also like to say a couple of things about the money. When I was up here about a month ago, we talked a bit about the deteriorating conditions of the school. And for those that don't know, there is a video now available on the school website that Mrs. Walker and others put together. I know there's some folks around the city that went ahead and they did the tour, but I would also encourage all the residents to go to that website and take a look at the deteriorating conditions of the middle school. That middle school was built in 1922. For those that don't know, I wasn't really around back then, but I believe Warren Harding was the president back then. That tells you how old and decrepit and deteriorated that school is. The folks that have been in charge over the years have done the best job that they could to keep that school up and running. But I have to tell you, I'm sure I'm not the only parent that has sat down with their children and talked about the conditions of that school. I have a middle schooler today. And you know what she says to me? Daddy, why does that girl's locker room have to look so disgusting? I don't want to change into my gym uniform and go to gym with the looks of that gym. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here to support the levy. That's why all of you should support this levy, along with these kids that got up here today to talk. This is a very important issue, not only to all of these kids, to all of the parents. It should be a very important issue to all of the council members as well. And of course, all of the residents in the city. At the end of the day, it's about the kids. It's about doing the right thing for the kids, supporting them, and giving them the best learning environment that we can give them. Now, I know everybody in the city received this literature that was passed out over the last couple of weeks. I want everybody to know, when you break this down, I mean, folks, we're talking about 77 cents a day. That's what it's going to cost across 365 days a year. I mean, if we can't afford 77 cents a day for our kids, why are we here? You know, we really do need to support this levy. If we don't, as some of the kids have stated tonight, we're going to have to reduce our teaching staff. We're going to have to reduce our support staff and our administrative staff. And oh, by the way, this is an endorsement for Mrs. Walker and for Mr. Farian. I've talked to them many times throughout the years, and believe me when I say it, they know what they're doing. They're very good at their job, and they have cut the fat that maybe existed at one time in the school district with the money and the finances. We are at bare bones. There is no more money coming in from the state. And Mr. Brady, I don't know if you're still here, but I would ask for your support as well, being our new county representative. Again, at the end of the day, we have to do the right thing. We don't want to cut computers. We don't want to cut art. We don't want to cut family and consumer science or foreign languages. We've got kids going over to Spain here in the next couple of weeks. They will never have that opportunity ever again if this levy does not pass. The music department, physical education, all the clubs that go on there at the school. But I will say this. If the levy does pass, there are many good things that will come of this. Many, many good things from an education perspective for our students. We're going to be able to maintain that small community-based values that Brooklyn has been known for. We can have secure and safety systems in our schools to protect our students. We will be able to consolidate on one campus and not have multiple buildings spread around the city.
Mr. Gentili, time's up. If you just want to take a couple seconds to wrap it up, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. And again, I would just like to say thank you very much for everyone, and please support our bond levy issue.
Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Okay. We will move forward with reports of committee, commissions, and boards. And we'll begin with the Finance Committee meeting. All of the items on our agenda this evening went before the Finance Committee meeting this evening, except for one that has to do with the zoning code with our fences. And the Finance Committee recommended passing by emergency measure the following ordinances or legislation. Resolution 2013-2, which is accepting the target areas as designated by the county. This is for our Community Development Block Grant. This was the hearing that we had prior to our last council meeting. Ordinance 2013-18, which is our annual appropriations ordinance. Ordinance 2013-10, or excuse me, -11, providing for fees for softball, baseball, soccer, basketball, tennis, and volleyball court. This allows a little more latitude in what we charge for the different areas within the rec department. Ordinance 2013-12, authorizing the purchase of an ambulance for the fire department. Ordinance 2013-13, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Bailey Communications. That's the company that provides our IT support. Ordinance 2013-14, entering into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Development. We're going to be getting $25,000 towards reconstructing Associate Avenue from them. Ordinance 2013-15, entering into an agreement with ODOT for Associate Avenue. They'll be providing $50,000 to us. The next two ordinances will be on first reading because they have to do with our bond anticipation notes. The first one, we're going to be issuing notes in the amount of $728,900 for resurfacing city streets, and the 2012-17 is an issuing of notes for $646,100, and that's for the roof at City Hall and the parking lot at the rec center. We also had a request to authorize hiring of an additional police officer who will take the place of one who's retiring, requesting authorization to pay for our portion of Ridge Road reconstruction, and requesting authorizing advertising for bids for our street repair program, and accepting the bid for the City Hall roof project. That completes the Finance Committee report. Next, we have Recreation Board, which is Mr. Tansky.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. Brooklyn Recreation Department Board meeting was held on March 18, 2013. City Egg Hunt took place on Saturday, March 23rd. Baseball registration has started. Age groups T-ball, co-ed, 3 to 4-year-olds. Co-ed coach pitch, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. Girls softball, 10 to 13-year-olds. Boys baseball, 9 to 10, and 11 to 14-year-olds. The registration deadline is April 6th. The weight room went out to bid again. Adult softball will have a men's league and a co-ed league. Inquiries can be made to Maria McGinty at the Rec Center. Spray pad went out to bid on Tuesday, March 19th. Tennis courts, Padua High School has put in the request to use our tennis courts. Maria McGinty put in an ordinance to accommodate them and other groups interested in the renting of our fields and courts. The next Recreation Board meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 15th, 2013 at 6:30 p.m. in the Mayor's Court. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have the Board of Zoning Appeals. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you. The Board of Zoning Code Appeals at its March 21st, 2013 meeting decided to defer for 1 month its decision for a fence variance at 4729 Fairway Drive. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have Planning Commission. Councilwoman Katie Gallagher.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. The Planning Commission will meet Thursday, April 4th at 6 p.m. in the Brooklyn Mayor's Court to hear a request from Agile Sign and Lighting Maintenance Incorporated to install a 308 square foot cabinet and illuminated pole sign for business identification of Super Kmart located at 7700 Brook Park Road. That's permanent parcel 433-19001. A request from Sign Erectors Incorporated to install a 29.4 square foot LED channel letters sign on the building face for business identification of Huntington Bank located at 6300 Bidoff Road, permanent parcel 432-28009. A request from Signa Electronic and Sign Company to install a 40.8 square foot food and drug illuminated building sign and to relocate a 36 square foot open 24 hours illuminated building sign to the west wall of Giant Eagle located at 6300 Bidoff Road, permanent parcel 432-28009. A request from David Summers and Associates to install a complete new sign package for the entire building of Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins located at 4740 Ridge Road, permanent parcel 433-15016. A request from Neff and Associates for a lot split and consolidation of Sam's Club located at 10250 Brook Park Road, permanent parcels 433-17002 and 003. A request from Brilliant Electronic Sign Company to install a wall-mounted business identification sign and reface an existing free-standing sign of Donald Martin's and Sons Ambulance Services located at 10830 Brook Park Road, permanent parcel 433-16001. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to reports of council. And this evening, we begin with Mrs. Colleen Gallagher.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Mr. Gentile and all the students who took the time to address council members at the last and current council meeting. I understand your concerns that the schools are facing, and unfortunately, if this levy does not pass, it will be a challenge for the school district to avoid cuts. Superintendent Cynthia Walker spoke at the last Democratic meeting on the combined operating levy bond issue on the May 7th ballot. The school board passed a resolution unanimously to place a 9.2 mil issue for operating costs and construction. Mrs. Walker pulled no punches in addressing the challenges that the district is facing. I applaud her efforts and thank her for standing tall during these tough and economic times. I believe all residents should take the opportunity to contact our superintendent, Mrs. Walker, or our treasurer, Marty Farian, and they will provide you the accurate information and answer any questions you have so you can make an informed decision on May 7th. And lastly, congratulations to Kevin Pucci. That's a great accomplishment, Kevin. And thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Katie Gallagher.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Chief Zemek, do you want to give an update on behind Key Bank to explain the green water back there? I just don't want to scare residents since you know information now.
Sure.
After working through this year's budget meeting, I think it was obvious that Brooklyn is facing many concerns in the near future with the uncertainty of a lot of our large businesses, the decrease in the revenue from the state, and the decreasing property values. And I really hope that council and mayor can come to an agreement how we're going to find ways to increase revenue without going to our residents to increase taxes, or ways to decrease the city's expenses without cutting services. I think that if we don't find innovative ways pretty soon, it's going to be too late, and we're going to be left with no other choice but to do one of these two things, and I think that's unacceptable. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Tansky.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. Good evening. I just want to remind everyone that this Friday, March 29th at noon, is the last day to register for youth opportunities. There is still time to sign up. Any youth who is interested in the job must go to www.youthopportunities.org to be eligible. I would also like to personally thank Councilman Tom Murphy in supporting me at the last council meeting with this great job opportunities program in Brooklyn. I want to thank Mr. Gentile for his comments on the school system. I also want to thank all the Brooklyn students for their comments as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. I'd first like to thank Ms. Marigliano for looking into the addition of funds that may, if they come through, hopefully finish the Tiedemann Road project. I think everybody agrees that to do 75% of it came up well short of what should happen. Ms. Marigliano is seeking funds to get it done, and I applaud you for your efforts. Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Dan Brady for showing up tonight and introducing himself. And I also wanted to inform residents that are Jewish friends about our Jewish friends and acknowledge that Passover started at sundown tonight. And for those that are not Jewish, have a happy and safe Easter. And thank you very much for the students that spoke tonight. You were eloquent. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. DeMarco?
First, I've got just a couple of thank yous, personal thank yous to our some of our firefighter paramedics. On March 1st, they had an unfortunate call to a neighbor of mine across the street, and I want to again personally thank Ed Coyne and Mike Dranowski for showing up timely and acting very professionally and taking care of my neighbor who had fallen in her garage. And on a more personal note, unfortunately, this is the second time they've been to my aunt's residence and had to pick her up. And again, I'd like to thank George Sahelnick and John Stefanko for their professional, timely response to the call. I, too, would like to thank the students for coming up tonight. I certainly can see your passion for the school and for your extracurricular activities, and I know it's tough to come up and talk in front of a larger group, so I appreciate that. And as I said at the last meeting, extracurriculars are extremely important. I was an active participant in a lot of extracurricular activities when I was at Brooklyn, including the band. And I know the director is doing a great job, because when I'm running at night, usually during the fall, I can take a couple laps around the track, and they're still up there in the dark practicing, and it brings me back to many years back for me anyways. And, just in terms of where our city's at today, whether it's the school district or the city itself, we are facing some serious challenges, and I know it's probably getting repetitive and people are sick of hearing me talk about it, but it bears repeating until we take some action on it. I can certainly say from the city's perspective, the mayor, council, previous council, we've cut expenses about as much as we can without significantly reducing services to our residents. And I think that's the last thing anybody wants to do. And I've been calling for some time now to take some action on trying to come up with some ways to generate additional revenues without going back to the taxpayers. I am not a tax person. I try to minimize taxes as much as I can. In terms of the school's position, I understand that obviously a bulk of their funding comes from property taxes, of which really they have no say in what the valuation comes in from the county. So I can't speak to their expense situation, but they certainly have a revenue problem like the city. So as I said at the last meeting, it's a very simple question for every resident that votes is, how much do you value an independent school system in your community? And if you value that, whether or not you have children in the school system, whether or not you had them previously, you should support the levy. And again, Mayor, I'd like to see us take some strong action sometime soon to generate additional revenue for the city. You know, continuing to wait and hoping is not a good strategy for our future. And that's all I have. Oh, happy Easter to all. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Van Kirk.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. I also want to say congratulations to Kevin on a job well done with that debate team. That's very impressive. I also wanted to thank the young people and the adults that came this evening to speak about the school levy and bond issue. We thank you for your time and for your efforts there. I also want to thank Mr. Tansky as well for his work with the youth opportunities. I appreciate that. And I know several of the folks that I'm in contact with at my school are taking advantage of that, and I appreciate his work on that. I also want to echo Miss Gallagher's concerns and also Mr. DeMarco's concerns about the opportunity for bringing in more revenue to the city. I know Mr. DeMarco has been talking about this for a while, and it's very important that we exercise something here very quickly to see something happen. And as was already mentioned, I wish everyone a happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day this Sunday. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I, too, would like to thank Mr. Dan Brady for coming here this evening, and I know that he's very sincere when he has stated that he's very accessible and very open to meeting with, any of us that, whether we have questions or concerns or just want to meet with him. So I appreciate him coming here this evening. I would like to thank the mayor for recognizing my son Kevin's accomplishments. Most people don't know that this requires 12 months a year of work, including giving up your summer. So thank you for recognizing his efforts. I, too, would also like to commend and thank the students who spoke this evening. You did a very good job. We're all proud of you for standing up and speaking your mind, and also to Mr. Gentile. I do believe in a community's obligation to provide safe facilities and sufficient funds to educate our young people. I recognize the need for a new facility. I've been on the tour, and I would encourage anyone, if you haven't been on the tour, either call and make an appointment or try and view the video, because they are in dire need of a new facility. I also recognize that through no fault of the schools, their revenue has declined. I think it was previously mentioned this evening, the schools have been through several cycles of reductions, so they have cut the fat out of the budget. Any further cuts would really seriously impact the students and their experience that they have in school. I do believe that it is up to the community to provide opportunities for all the children in our community. So I would encourage people to please support the levy. And like I stated at the last meeting, if there are people out there who have questions, doubts, any type of concerns, contact a school board member, contact Mrs. Walker, the superintendent, or the treasurer, Marty Farian. They are more than happy to meet with anybody, have a phone conversation, but please get your questions answered, please become informed, and please support the levy. The schools are a vital part of our community. Whether you have children in the schools or not, we all have a vested interest in having a strong school system. And I, too, would like to wish everyone a happy Easter. So next we'll move on to the mayor's report. Mayor Balbier.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. I also would like to thank the students for getting up here. I know when I was your age, I could never get up there. Even if you paid me, I couldn't have gotten up there and talked like you did. So I congratulate you all for getting up there. I know it took a lot. This past week, we opened the old library has become the Loving Cup Kids Academy of Brooklyn on Ridge Road. That building was empty for 20 years, and now it's two doctors from Metro have invested $400,000, and it's going to bring 20 jobs to Brooklyn. And we had the ribbon cutting Thursday, and the building just beautiful inside. You should all go up there just to take a look at what they did. It's very, very nice, and it's going to be an asset to the city. And like I told the doctors, I said you couldn't pick a better place to have a daycare. When you got a library on one side, a church on the other side, and a school behind you, you couldn't pick three better neighbors for a daycare. And they said, well, that's why we want to build there, Mayor. So, and they're going to be open from 6 a.m. till midnight. So, I mean, people that work second shifts can use it too. So it's worth looking into. I'd like to thank Mrs. McGinty and the rec department. They had their Easter egg hunt on Saturday for the kids. I stopped up there and they had a large turnout as usual. So I'd like to thank her for a job well done. I also have a lot of good people that work for me, and one of them is mostly behind the scenes, but she does an excellent job. And that's our Economic Development Director, Fran. When I told her to see if there was any grants out there, like I think Mr. Murphy mentioned it, on Associate Avenue, the job's going to cost us $150,000 to complete, and Fran was able to locate one grant for $25,000 and one for $50,000. So half the project's going to be paid for with grants, and I'd like to thank Fran for all her work with that. It's beautiful spring weather we got out here, isn't it? I'd also would like to wish everybody a happy and safe Easter, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to directors' reports. And this evening, we have a report from Fire Chief Zemek.
Thank you, Council President and members of Council. To answer Councilwoman Gallagher's inquiry, last council meeting, we did have an incident prior to that of a truck that leaked the coolant behind those restaurants over there. So I thought that's what you were talking about. Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District representative was here at council that night. After council, he brought me his card and he said, I think you need to call this guy. So I called, and they have been putting green dye, which is not dangerous at all, through Big Creek Parkway, behind KeyBank, behind Walmart, watching where this stuff is flowing out to the tributaries and through the sewer system, and they continue to do it. And the gentleman I talked to said, oh, we should have called Brooklyn. We let Cleveland know and everybody else. And Parma knew about this. So they are continuing to do this, checking where these sewers are flowing and stuff in anticipation of this big, huge sewer project that is going on at the west end of Cleveland, that big culvert or whatever they're building. So he sends me emails now and then and tells me where he's going to be dumping the dye. But it is around that area, the KeyBank, the area around the hotels and behind Walmart, and Big Creek Parkway off the Parkway, and Parma around the Knollwood area and all that stuff. So that's what they've been doing. And until somebody called you, we had no idea that it was going on. So everybody can rest. Everybody can just be easy. This is not nasty chemical stuff. The other reason I wanted to speak tonight was on, if you'll recall, on November 16th of last year, we gave out commendations a little later at the next council meeting to a gentleman that rescued a female out of a fire and resuscitated her. The fire was at 9815 Memphis Avenue down here in the Parkview Apartments. And those gentlemen were nominated for the state award given annually by Ohio American College of Emergency Physicians and the Ohio Division of EMS. And the award is known as the Star of Life Award. Region 9 consists of all departments from Lorain County all the way east to Ashtabula, through Ashtabula County, and south through Medina County. So it includes Summit, Portage, and all that too. They have won the award. There is a ceremony on May 15th in Columbus. They are being recognized at that luncheon ceremony. And again, along with them, Parma Fire that did come out to assist us and ended up transporting the female from the fire scene because our personnel were busy. The nominator put those folks in also, and so it's a joint award. So the 5 gentlemen from Parma will also be receiving an award with the Brooklyn firefighters. And again, the Brooklyn guys are Lieutenant Matt Benny, firefighter Ed Krajowski, firefighter Matt Antel, firefighter George Sahelnik, firefighter Eddie Coyne, and firefighter John Stefanko. And as their chief, I'm proud of them, and I congratulate them. And I look forward to the 15th when I get to go down and watch them get their award. So, thank you.
Thank you. And Chief, please pass along our pride in their accomplishment too. Next, we have Building Department, Mr. Fitzgerald. I had you on my list.
Oh, no, I didn't have a report.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll move on. We have a liquor permit transfer at 10300 Brook Park Road, It's being transferred from Lehigh Gas Ohio LLC, DBA BP AMPM. It's being transferred to 7-Eleven Incorporated, DBA 7-Eleven. And I have a note here that Chief Milky has no objections to this. Okay, any
Move for no
comments?
objection.
Okay. We need a second?
Second.
It's
To allow the liquor permit with no objection, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Abstain.
We have a letter from Chief Milky. I wanted to make you aware of the retirement of Patrolman Frank Farini. Patrolman Farini has submitted his intention to retire on April 2nd, 2013. Frank has been a valuable member of our department since September of 2003. Before joining Brooklyn Police Department, he has served with Middleburg Heights Police, the Metro Park Rangers, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol. He brought many years of experience and knowledge to our department. I'm sad to see him go, but excited to see him start a new and well-earned phase in his life. I respectfully request that the city consider replacing Farini. As you are well aware, we are in the process of performing backgrounds for 2 positions. I'm asking for another total of 3. Replacing Farini would actually cost less. Farini was a first-class patrolman pay. A new officer would take 2 years to reach that status. A new officer will not be hired until after Farini retires. Maintaining our current level of staffing is imperative to our service to the community. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact me, Chief Milky. We need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
To authorize the hire of a 3rd police officer after retirement, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next, we have a request to authorize payment for the Ridge Road reconstruction project. We received this in January because we had not appropriated enough in our temporary budget and we're passing the permanent budget this evening. We could not accomplish this until this evening. So Brooklyn's share is $1,591,498.40. We need a motion to approve the payment.
Move to approve the payment.
Second.
Motion to authorize payment for Ridge Road reconstruction, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next, we have a letter from Service Director Mr. Verba. Members of council, I respectfully request authorization to advertise for bids for the 2013 local street repair program, which will include North Cliff Avenue, west of Ridge Road to the overpass, Glencoe Avenue, west of Ridge, and Associate Avenue.
Move to advertise for bids.
Second.
To advertise for bids for various city streets, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next, we have a letter from Mr. Verba requesting accepting the bid for the City Hall roof project. The lowest and best bid was Tarek Roofing for $293,158, and we're also going to accept alternate 1, which was for the wall panels, and that was with Tarek Roofing for $17,080. And the request is to approve this at an amount not to exceed $350,000, just to cover additional work that could be found during the installation phase. We need a motion to accept the bid not to exceed $350,000.
Move to accept the bid.
Second.
To accept the bid for the City Hall roof, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next is Resolution 2013-2, which we'll be passing by emergency measure this evening, accepting the improvement target areas as designated by the county and approving the application for upgrading the City of Brooklyn's parks and recreation areas to be funded under the Community Development Block Grant Program. There are 3 areas. One is to redo the basketball courts over at Backyard Fun. The second is to replace some of the playground equipment at Kids Kingdom, which is back here behind City Hall, and then also to replace some of the playground equipment in the John Fry Park behind the rec center.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2013-8, which will be passing by emergency measure. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We need to adopt. Go ahead.
Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I got ahead of myself there. Next is ordinance 2013-8, our annual appropriations ordinance, which we'll be adopting by emergency measure this evening, to make appropriations for current and other expenditures of the City of Brooklyn, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2013.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2013-10, which will also be passing by emergency measure, amending section 1117.05C fences of chapter 1117 residential district regulations of the codified ordinances. Currently, we have a provision in this ordinance where if a fence is over 36 inches high, there has to be a uniformly open openness to the extent of 10%. This change will remove that. So after this is adopted and in effect, if someone wants a solid fence, they will no longer have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And Chief Milky, I understand that you are supportive of this?
No objection.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on this? Okay, and we're going to pass this by emergency measure this evening because because it is part of the zoning, after we pass it, I think there's a 30-day.
30 days.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. We want to make sure it's in effect when people start putting up fences.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2013-11, which we'll be adopting by emergency measure, providing for fees for softball, baseball, soccer, basketball, tennis, and volleyball courts, fields usage within the City of Brooklyn Recreation Department, and there will be a range anywhere between $15 to $250 per day for the usage.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher? Yes. Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Ordinance.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-12, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one ambulance and associated equipment and trade-ins in the amount not to exceed $229,770 from P Fund Superior Sales Incorporated, and this will be passed by emergency measure also.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2013-13, authorizing the mayor to enter into a service agreement renewal with Bailey Communications Incorporated to provide maintenance of network, software, support, and other related services for the City of Brooklyn. And the total for this annual contract is $46,840.56, and we'll be adopting this by emergency measure.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-14, allowing the City of Brooklyn to enter into an Ohio Department of Development roadwork agreement relating to the reconstruction of Associate Avenue, and this provides for a $25,000 grant.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-15, which will be adopted under the emergency measure, allowing the City of Brooklyn to enter into an Ohio Department of Transportation Office of Jobs and Commerce agreement relating to the reconstruction of Associate Avenue, and under this will receive $50,000.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
To adopt, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance 2013-16, which will be on first reading this evening, providing for the issuance and sale of $728,900 notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay costs of resurfacing certain city streets to be approved by City Council, together with all work incidental thereto. And I believe it's sufficient if I just say that the fiscal officer's certificate is attached. We no longer have to read it. Okay. So that is on first reading. We don't need to take a vote on that. Okay, and next we have ordinance 2013-17, which is also on first reading this evening, providing for the issuance and sale of $646,100 notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds to pay for costs of improvements to city buildings, including parking therefor. And the fiscal officer's certificate is also attached to this ordinance. So that is on first reading. That completes our agenda. Does the mayor or any other members of council have anything they'd like to say? Mr. Murphy?
Yes, I'd like to ask, how much did we allot for the Associate Avenue project?
It's
Is it
150.
So it's going to come in at 125, but 75 of it's going to be covered.
It's going to come in at 150, and
150,000
75 that's covered.
is our estimate.
Oh, okay.
And then we're receiving $75,000, 50 from ODOT and 25 from Ohio Department of Development. 629 funding, I believe.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we need
If I can just say one thing, if you don't mind, and this is just totally off subject, but I have the pleasure of having Joanne Haig work for me, and I would just like everyone to know that she does everything to step in to help, and this is just one of those things. So she does a great job for me, and I'm very lucky to have her in my department. So thank you.
Yes, and we appreciate Joanne stepping in and substituting for Mary Jo this evening. Okay, anyone else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
To adjourn, Colleen Gallagher?
Yes.
Katie Gallagher?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Tom Murphy?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Tony DeMarco?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Thank you.
But he got his $400,000 garbage truck last year.
But he didn't want.